I'm having trouble enough believing a toaster that works when you say 5. But a square egg, that's ridiculous.
Well, you're the one who wanted to live on a farm.
What's that got to do?
When I was a kid, every time Green Acres came on, my whole family would squeeze together around our old wooden TV. The moment the theme song started playing, my heart would race with excitement. Oliver and Lisa appeared in the chaotic farm setting, and Lisa would say in her quirky Hungarian accent, "Why do you think this woman want to be beautiful for you, for their husbands?" I burst out laughing while my parents just shook their heads, reluctantly accepting the sweet madness of Hooterville as part of our nightly routine.
Lisa?
Now, why do you think these women want to be beautiful? For you, for their husbands.
But that cheerful, innocent surface was only a thin layer. Behind it were dark secrets few dared to mention. The show was completely canceled by CBS during the brutal rural purge of 1971. There was even a disturbing rumor that Arnold the Pig, the lovable mascot of the series, was slaughtered and roasted right after filming ended. Even more shocking, Green Acres was one of the first sitcoms to dare showing a married couple sharing a bed on television at the time. So what's the truth? Behind the laughter of Hooterville, how strange and tragic were the hidden realities of this seemingly light-hearted show? 20. Green Acres was canceled due to the rural purge.
Whichever way you decide is all right with me.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cousin Leroy.
Cousin Leroy?
On my mother's side.
Every time I rewatch the final episodes of Green Acres, I feel a mix of nostalgia and quiet sadness. In 1971, CBS ruthlessly canceled the show as part of its rural purge, a cold decision aimed at wiping out all programs with a countryside theme. I still vividly remember Pat Buttram, Mr. Haney, bitterly saying, "That year CBS canceled everything with a tree in it, even Lassie." I can't help but laugh and shiver at the same time when I think about Mr. Haney Arnold the Pig and all the charming absurdity of Hooterville suddenly cut off without warning. That rural world once filled with laughter and sweet madness that warmed our family evenings was erased simply because it no longer fit the urban image the network wanted. It felt like a piece of my childhood was taken away too abruptly and mercilessly. I still remember those delightful moments, the small jokes, Lisa's chaotic Hungarian accent, and the clever crossovers with the Beverly Hillbillies. When the people of Hooterville staged a play and Lisa became Granny Clampett while Oliver played Jethro, I laughed uncontrollably and thought only this crazy countryside could pull off something so ridiculous and still be so lovable. Even after more than half a century, Hooterville still lives on in my heart, an immortal countryside where simple joy always carries a touch of gentle sadness. Do you feel nostalgic when rewatching Green Acres? Share your thoughts. 19. The tragic rumor about Arnold the Pig.
That's a pig.
Now you hurt his feelings. He's going to Washington with us.
We don't allow pigs on this plane.
He has a ticket.
Anyone who has watched Green Acres surely loved Arnold the Pig, the smartest, most mischievous, and adorable pig on screen. But after the series ended, a cruel rumor broke many fans' hearts. Tom Lester once claimed that Arnold had been slaughtered and roasted after filming Wrapped. The image of the cast sitting around a fire laughing while enjoying roasted meat, as absurd as it was horrifying, haunted me for a long time. My heart felt tight with sadness and confusion. How could characters we loved meet such a tragic fate? Later I found out the entire story was made up by Tom Lester, who was simply tired of answering the same questions from fans over and over again. I felt relieved, but I never forgot that initial mix of fear and curiosity. Still in my memory, Arnold remains lively and playful. Different pigs played the role, but to me, that's just one of Hollywood's little secrets. Watching Arnold's mischievous moments on screen still makes me smile and reminds me that sometimes strange rumors become part of our nostalgia, too. 18. Tom Lester was the only real farmer in the cast.
Mr. Douglas bought it from Mrs. Douglas, and she gave it to me for you.
Oh, isn't that sweet? Aren't you going to put it on?
Oh. How does it look?
Do you remember Tom Lester as Eb Dawson? His skinny figure, slightly wrinkled clothes, and naive smile like he had just stepped out of a misty field. As a child, I only saw him as clumsy and lovable. But as I grew older, I realized among a cast of city actors, Tom Lester was the only one who truly carried the essence of the land. He grew up in Mississippi, with a childhood filled with milking cows, planting cotton, plowing fields, and harvesting crops. Every movement holding a hoe, walking through a barn, or scratching his head awkwardly when scolded wasn't acting. It was lived experience. In the surreal and sometimes absurd world of Hooterville, Eb Dawson felt like an anchor of authenticity. He didn't just play a farmer, he was one. His presence made the show feel less artificial, more grounded, warmer, and quietly melancholic. Every time I see Eb standing on the porch with a milk bucket and a shy smile, my heart softens. We were lucky to witness an actor who didn't just act like a farmer, but truly brought the smell of soil grass and real life into every frame. 17. One of the first shared bed scenes in American TV history.
Whatever it was, you're no fun for a honeymoon. Oh, darling, I'm sorry. Does it hurt?
Yes, of course it hurts.
Oh, you poor thing.
Can you believe it? In the 1960s, when most married couples on American television still had to sleep in separate beds, Green Acres quietly did something revolutionary. Oliver and Lisa Douglas shared the same bed. The moment I noticed this, it caught me off guard. Not because it was explicit or provocative, but because of how bold yet subtle it was. Eddie Albert and Eva Gabor lay side by side in their pajamas, chatting, arguing, then laughing, all so natural, charming, and full of life. Eva Gabor's elegant nightwear made the scene feel even more sensual for audiences of that era. At the time, it caused quite a stir. Some people thought it was too daring, even scandalous. But to me, it felt incredibly sweet and relatable. The chemistry between the two actors made it seem like Oliver and Lisa were a real married couple who had lived together for years in Hooterville. What's even more interesting, despite many rumors, Eddie Albert and Eva Gabor were never romantically involved. They were simply close friends, a refined and lasting friendship spanning decades. Their natural chemistry came from mutual respect and professionalism, not real-life romance. That shared bed scene wasn't just a small shock in TV history, it was proof that Green Acres quietly pushed boundaries, humorous yet subtle, bold yet warm. 16. Based on the radio show Granby's Green Acres. Granby's Green Acres was like a wildflower blooming briefly in the summer of 1950, airing for only about 7 weeks on the radio. The story of a banker leaving the city for the countryside, adept with money, but awkward with fields, seemed simple, but contained hope and innocence. Every gentle sound of the meadow's livestock and laughter in the radio studio planted the seeds for a bigger dream, bringing a tenderness to listeners amid an absurd yet lively life. Although Granby's lasted only briefly, it laid the foundation for Green Acres on television more than a decade later. From the clumsy banker to the naive hired hand, to the family that was both silly and lovable, all stemmed from those original radio characters. The old breath, the smell of hay, the laughter hidden in each radio episode still emerged vividly when adapted to television, as if history were being revived with brighter sound and light. 15. Albert disliked Gabor's feathers. In the Green Acres studio lights, the story still lingers of Eddie Albert objecting to Eva Gabor wearing a feather-adorned dress on screen. Albert, always mindful of the environment, said seriously, "Eva, I don't want other women copying this. More birds would have to die." Gabor shrugged with a playful smile. "Eddie, the feathers aren't from birds. Curious?" Albert tilted his head and asked, "Then where do you think the feathers come from?" Gabor giggled optimistically, mischievous doll-ink. "Pillows. The feathers come from urine." They both laughed. Yet in that moment, the gentle contrast was clear. One a reasoned concern for nature, the other the glamorous, humorous spirit of a Hollywood star playing together under the lights and audience laughter. A small, simple story, but one that preserved both love for nature and human mischief in the memory of Green Acres. 14. Mr. Haney was inspired by Elvis Presley.
Name, please?
Mr. Haney,
Haney. First name?
I've had about enough.
I've had about it.
Recalling the first time I saw Mr. Haney, I felt both delight and shivers. Pat Buttram, with his posture raspy voice, exaggerated smile, and the familiar line, "Mr. Douglas, today is your lucky day," made me laugh, yet I immediately sensed the mischievous spark in the character. Knowing Buttram drew inspiration from Colonel Tom Parker, Elvis Presley's manager, it felt like seeing real showbiz shadows sneak into Green Acres countryside, turning peace into a clever, sometimes sly, yet always humorous game. Every time Haney sold a plow kitchen or even a herd of cows and invited the Douglases to lease them at exorbitant rates, I saw the character's cunning, clever, yet charming nature. Watching the show, I laughed while sensing subtle unease threading through Oliver and Lisa's innocent laughter. At times, I thought, that raspy smile, that calculating glance. It really is Parker living in Haney. Every time Haney maneuvered through rural life, Green Acres felt not only peaceful, but full of schemes, commerce, and disrupted dreams. That contrast between simplicity and cunning rural life and showbiz made me nostalgic and amused, recalling the first time I watched a feeling still intact in my mind, as if I were standing on the farm watching Haney smile cheat, yet remain lovable. 13. Viewers never knew where Hooterville was. Hooterville always existed as a vague countryside, both familiar and strange in Green Acres. Like Springfield in The Simpsons, viewers never knew its exact location. Once Mr. Haney said it was about 300 miles from Chicago, yet the villagers' accents and gestures hinted at the northeastern U.S. or even Eldon, Missouri. That contradiction was not a flaw, but a magic. Hooterville was both a real place and an imaginative space, allowing viewers to picture the countryside as they wished. Audiences saw Hooterville through Haney's mischievous smile, the pig's oinks, and the absurd yet ordinary rural events happening daily. The town needed no map, no coordinates, because its absurdity and vagueness made it alive. The mix of reality and fiction, from varied speech patterns to contradictory clues about location, made Hooterville an icon, an American countryside, both fairy tale humorous, quirky, and familiar in imagination. Not knowing where Hooterville was made it even more enchanting. Watching Green Acres, people didn't just laugh at Oliver and Lisa's silliness or Haney's cunning tricks. but also felt the countryside live in memory and dreams, a place one could step into anytime amid meadows' moonlight and Hooterville's echoing laughter. 12. Many small jokes throughout the series.
You care for some, Mr. Douglas?
No thanks. I've eaten here before.
The first time I heard Lisa say to Oliver, "When you married me, you knew I couldn't cook, sew, or run a household. All I could do was speak Hungarian and imitate Gabor." I smiled naturally, while a gentle warmth seeped into my heart. The line, both self-deprecating and sincere, conveyed Lisa's subtle charm, her innocent yet lively nature, and made me partially understand the hardships Oliver endured while still loving his quirky wife. Whenever Lisa clumsily did chores or prepared meals, I laughed at the absurdity and humor of the scenes. Pancakes so hard they could be used as roofs. Strange Hungarian words. Her odd gestures all made me feel as if I were standing in the meadow, witnessing each small yet lively moment of Hooterville. The mix of joy and warmth made me not only amused, but also appreciate the hidden tenderness in every silly act. When Hooterville recreated the Beverly Hillbillies play, I laughed seeing Lisa as Granny Clampett and Oliver as Jethro. The show's blend of inside jokes and subtle crossovers made me feel like not just a viewer, but a participant in that fictional world. Laughter from the screen drew me into an imagined countryside where every absurdity became lovable and colorful. Those small jokes, witty lines, and Lisa's clumsiness combined into an unforgettable experience. Every memory evoked nostalgia for a countryside both quirky and familiar, where laughter, silliness, and simple joys intertwined, leaving a warm and sweet aftertaste that lingers to this day. Do you remember these little jokes? Share your thoughts. 11. Arnold the Pig once won a Patsy Award.
You leaving?
No, he said he forgot something.
How do you know what he's talking about?
He uses the same dialect that they use in the southern part of Hungary.
I still remember the feeling the first time I saw Arnold Ziffel on screen, a tiny snow-white pig with eyes always wide open, as if astonished by the world. Yet he stepped into Green Acres as if he had long belonged there, as if he understood the chaos, the absurdity, and the subtle sadness woven into every scene. Watching the show, it felt like Arnold was not merely a pet for laughs, but a gentle soul placed amidst the madness of Hooterville. In that world where humans often behaved even more bizarrely than animals, Arnold became a pillar of calm. There were scenes where he sat watching TV like a well-behaved child, sometimes running around as if understanding dramas that even his owners couldn't comprehend. I realized he brought more than laughter. He gave the audience a touch of warmth amid the show's absurdity. Whenever he appeared, my face softened. There was something truly kind in the way the show treated a pig as a person going to school, writing letters, loved like the Ziffel's own son. The remarkable thing is that Arnold actually won the Patsy Award in 1967, the prestigious honor from the American Humane Association, often called the Oscar for animal actors. Arnold was not a single individual. Year after year, to maintain the innocent piglet appearance on screen, multiple pigs were used. Each life contributed only a fragment to the role before being replaced. The name Arnold Ziffel endured while the real pigs who sniffed hay heard the cameras passed by quickly, like wind through the stacked pages backstage. The glory belonged to a fictional name while the real performers lived brief, fragile lives. Yet Arnold's gaze had a way of touching hearts. Under the gentle hand of trainer Frank Inn, He knew when to look at the camera, when to sit and watch TV, eliciting laughter as if he understood human sorrow. Arnold's fame once prompted children across America to send letters to the set. One child even wrote that they could no longer eat pork for fear of hurting Arnold. Then the lights went out. The crew packed up. Audiences moved on to other shows. Arnold Ziffel, the name that once made America laugh, remained in memory as a faint silhouette. One of the pigs who played the role was cremated, the ashes sent to Hollywood Hills, resting among old stars. Trainer Frank Inn was later buried alongside. Perhaps it was the only time a human actor and a pig actor lay side by side as a final tribute to their shared time together. 10. The 1990 reunion.
I'd like to see the idiot that paid you $300 for a phony clock.
The return to Green Acres in 1990 opened a Hooterville that felt both familiar and strange. Oliver and Lisa returned from New York, confronting Mr. Haney's schemes, with the whole town seemingly waiting for them to save the day. Watching that scene, I could feel the distinctive comedic rhythm: Lisa clumsy yet charming Haney, deceitful yet strangely lovable. Old lines echoed back, making me smile quietly while nurturing a gentle nostalgia for the absurd but lively countryside. Hooterville buzzed with schemes and warm absurdity, and the Douglas family became the town's pillar. I followed every gesture, every glance, feeling as though I had traveled through time, standing amid lush meadows, hearing laughter echo from the past. Everything was familiar. The laughter, the jokes, the humorous clumsiness, yet intertwined with the novelty of a reunion after 20 years. When the show ended, Hooterville's essence lingered with me. Absurd, silly, yet warm, where small jokes and mischievous laughter mingled with memories of a countryside thought lost. I felt fortunate to witness both the old memories and the 1990 reunion, like an immortal countryside living in memory where every detail gently stirred the heart. 9. Theme song composed by Vic Mizzy. The music of Green Acres was inseparable from the show's charm. The theme song, composed by Vic Mizzy, famous for the snap-snap melody of the Addams Family, brought a lively, catchy tune perfectly accompanying Oliver and Lisa's move from the city to the countryside. The opening lyrics, "Green Acres is the place to be / farm livin' is the life for me," not only summarized the story, but evoked Hooterville's absurd, humorous, yet warm spirit. What made the song remarkable was that the main actors performed it themselves. Eddie Albert and Eva Gabor, though not professional singers, completed the recording under Mizzy's guidance. Gabor, portraying a socialite bewildered by country life, through her innocent singing voice, highlighted Lisa's lovable clumsiness and humor. Listening to the song, I felt the show's entire spirit and atmosphere, joyful, absurd, and nostalgic. Mizzy's melody, combined with background music and lyrics, opened a doorway from the bustling city to Hooterville, where every small joke, whimsical absurdity, and villagers' laughter merged. Repeated listening turned the theme song into an immortal mark, making me smile, feel tender, and remember a countryside once lost, but forever alive in memory. 8. Eb called Oliver and Lisa dad and mom in real life.
Ain't that a square egg?
Oh, yeah.
How'd you do it, Mr. Douglas?
Oh, no, I didn't do it. No, somebody's playing a joke on us.
Lester, a 22-year-old country boy, entered Green Acres with hands familiar with spades, and the scent of soil, yet carried innocence and bewilderment toward the film world. Throughout 6 years of filming, he genuinely called Eddie Albert his surrogate father, naturally, simply, without flourish. Each time I heard Lester refer to Albert, I imagined the two standing side by side, Eb Dawson and Oliver Douglas, in real life, with respect, closeness, and a touch of unspoken affection. As for Eva Gabor, Lester truly called her Mom. The reality was that part of the on-screen affection, Eb's dad echoing amid absurd antics, laughter, and the scent of meadows seeped into real life, bridging the screen and reality. Watching Lester and Albert, I felt an invisible thread connecting them between rural memories and Green Acres' humorous world, making me realize that true family sometimes exists not just in scripts, but in real life, in smiles, glances, and quiet trust. 7. Eddie Albert's musical talent was real. Eddie Albert was not just the clumsy Oliver Douglas, but also a skilled musician, a lively aspect of him I always imagined while watching. In some episodes he played clarinet, accentuating musical interludes, making scenes more vibrant with just a few notes. Watching him on screen, I sensed the versatility and depth of a true artist. Oliver Douglas was not merely a city lawyer turned country dweller, but a man bringing rhythm sound and part of Eddie Albert's soul into Hooterville. Those moments when Albert played or tapped rhythms stirred me. Music blended with laughter, with the villagers' absurd antics, and Arnold the Pig creating a space both lively and intimate, painting Hooterville in vivid memory. Music, like Albert himself, was a subtle, gentle, yet powerful personal layer, making the absurd countryside both humorous and warm, leaving an enduring mark. 6. Actors were not allowed to improvise. Green Acres stood out because, unlike most sitcoms, actors could not improvise. Every line, every situation, every comedic beat was pre-written, unchangeable. Even Eddie Albert said, "There was no time to improvise on that program. It was so well written, it would be impossible to improve on it. We never changed a word." Each line, each expression, each Haney chin tilt or Lisa's bewilderment was carefully constructed, leaving no room for unscripted surprises. For me, this created a unique nostalgia. Every episode felt like a pre-painted picture, where every absurd, silly, or tender moment was meticulously measured. Laughter jokes, Arnold's oinks, all precisely balanced, giving Hooterville a vibrant yet stable, perfectly remembered presence. 5. The close relationship between Eddie Albert and Eva Gabor. Watching Oliver and Lisa on screen, I always sensed something genuine, a rapport, making every gesture, glance, and smile alive and sincere. Knowing that Eddie Albert and Eva Gabor were close friends in real life, I understood why their scenes were so natural and sweet. I remember sitting before the screen seeing Lisa grumble, Oliver sigh yet squint affectionately, thinking, they don't need to act. They understand each other enough to turn friendship into a perfect performance. That moment made me feel that Hooterville was not just an absurd countryside, but a place where real emotions existed among real people. I smiled softly at their jokes, at Oliver's glances meeting Lisa's, a gentle, lifelike stir making comedy scenes both witty and warm. Their friendship, preserved over years, made me believe that on-screen chemistry is not accidental, but a result of true affection and trust. Thinking of Eva Gabor's passing in 1995, I felt a pang of nostalgia. Eddie Albert mourned the loss of his friend, and I realized that watching Green Acres was not only enjoying a sitcom, but also reflecting on friendship, trust, and enduring connections. Each time I see Oliver and Lisa, a piece of that beautiful memory lives again, gently yet profoundly. 4. Ralph Monroe was a woman, not a man.
Hello there, Ralph.
Are you practicing for the nail driving contest?
No, I'm not.
You'll never get anywhere with that grip. Here, let me show you.
Will you stop the...
Seeing Ralph Monroe in Green Acres always made me laugh and feel surprised. A clumsy carpenter often arguing with Alf Ralph was actually a woman played by Mary Grace Canfield. I remember the first time I learned this feeling strange, as if Hooterville contained both absurd comedy and a subtle secret about gender and societal norms of the time. Ralph dressed as a boy to be hired as a carpenter, making me laugh, yet feel a tinge of sorrow a woman had to pretend to be male, to be accepted in work, even in a fictional countryside. Every scene of Ralph holding a hammer drilling, hitting the wrong wall, or teasing Alf revealed the cleverness behind the clumsiness. Knowing the actor was female, I admired the transformation, turning a female character into a boy carpenter the audience believed. Her lines, head shakes, chin tilts all came alive in my memory, as if I stood in Hooterville witnessing every mischievous, absurd act. Conflicts between Ralph and Alf, while humorous, carried deeper meaning. CBS worried male audiences might not believe a woman could perform manual labor, reminding me of societal prejudices and invisible barriers women once faced. What do you think of this truth? Share your thoughts. 3. They each resembled their characters.
What do you think you're doing?
Who said that?
I did.
Where are you?
Up here.
Oh, hello, Darryl.
Albert and Gabor in real life seem to share traits with their characters. For example, Eddie Albert, standing in a vast cornfield before his Pacific Palisades home, hands, muddy gaze, serious yet humorous, felt like Oliver Douglas truly stepped out of the screen into real life. I felt a strange connection. Hooterville existed not only in the sitcom but infiltrated his private life, where organic vegetables and cornrows became part of Oliver's story. Eva Gabor was different, maintaining Lisa Douglas's elegance, yet with her array of pets, cats, dogs, birds, chickens, rabbits, she brought a touch of simulated countryside into city life. I couldn't help laughing at the story of rabbits breeding uncontrollably. Didn't I just get a pair? Where did the others come from? Her question revealed the gentle, innocent humor Lisa often displayed on screen. 2. Eddie Albert almost turned down the role because he hated television.
Take it out for a little spin, Unc. Better watch it, though. I got that gearbox wound pretty tight.
I know how to drive this. I've been driving this.
I often think if Eddie Albert had firmly declined Green Acres, as he had many other offers, my childhood and the soft, nostalgic world I cling to would have felt empty. There was something magical about his presence on screen. A city man in the countryside, both funny and melancholy, always striving to maintain order in a world that refused logic. Watching him felt like he was helping me embrace my own weary parts, the parts wanting to escape and run to a meaningless yet comforting field. So knowing he almost turned down the role out of deep disdain for television made a chill rise in me. Just one different nod, a small refusal like a breath, and the Green Acres world I love would not exist as it did. I recall the anecdote of the meeting where jokes about nudity for chickens made Eddie laugh, his breath easing a beat. A tiny moment yet, enough to pivot a show's destiny. At that time, he often folded his arms contemplatively, reading scripts, sighing half to himself, half to fate. Well, I'll try one more time. And that one more time was the greatest fortune for people like me, those seeking refuge in a quirky town that seemed unreal. Whenever I rewatch the show, seeing Eddie Albert standing in a misty field, I feel as if he whispers, "I'm here and I choose to stay." And I know even if he never saw me, I am forever grateful for that choice, a beautiful fortune, cherished in the softest corners of my memory. 1. Sharing the universe with Petticoat Junction. Green Acres, produced by Filmways as a sister to Petticoat Junction, premiered on CBS on September 15, 1965, offering an absurd yet familiar countryside. I still remember the feeling when the theme music played for the first time, like opening a gate into the vast Hooterville, where every nook house and character was vivid and colorful. The combination of director Richard L. Baer and executive producer Paul Henning, already successful with Petticoat Junction and the Beverly Hillbillies, made everything tight, humorous, and alive. Hooterville did not exist alone. It shared the universe, with Petticoat Junction sharing characters like Sam Drucker and many crossover stories. I still imagined Oliver and Lisa passing Sam's store, meeting familiar characters, laughing at absurd yet relatable situations, as if living in a vast countryside where every prank was welcomed and ordinary moments became memorable. Looking back at these 20 facts about Green Acres, I realized the sitcom was more than a chain of absurd laughs. It was a treasure trove of behind-the-scenes wonders, from mischievous Arnold the Pig Oliver and Lisa's real-life rapport to secrets about Ralph Monroe and the hidden Hooterville somewhere between New York and Chicago. Did you ever imagine these colorful little details when rewatching the show? Or was there a truth that surprised you most? Thank you for accompanying me on this nostalgic journey. If you love behind-the-scenes stories and little-known secrets of classic sitcoms, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss a single video. Let's continue exploring fascinating details and the lingering fragments of cinematic memory together.